Hello and welcome back to Pro Evolution Soccer 2020, where we are taking Newcastle to the new heights of 15th place in the Premier League at the moment. Today, Burnley and Southampton in a highlights package is what we're going to do. If you saw a post that I put up and then deleted on YouTube community, it's because I thought I had lost this save and we're going to have to start again, but I haven't. We've got this save, we're still going with it. I have actually already played this, made a video out of it, but the save, for some reason, where I managed to save the game, hadn't included the Burnley and the Southampton game, so I've got to play them again. But you guys, I didn't really have to tell you that, you didn't know. But we have beaten Everton 1-0, which is good, off camera. Beat Tottenham 3-0 as well away. We lost 1-0 to Man City, and we drew 2-2 with Crystal Palace after the run of 3 games that we did last episode. So it's been okay. Burnley and Southampton to come in this episode, and we've gone for a slight change of formation. So we are playing the more attacking, two attacking midfield formation. It's basically a 4-1-5 at this point in time that we're playing, but it is going rather well. We've changed our attacking, our instructions as well. Counter attacking, short pass, centre, maintain formation, frontline pressure, middle and conservative. And then on the advanced stuff, we hug the touchline and have Haaland drop, or whoever the striker is, drop into a bit more of the space in between Olmo and Bentaleb so that they can then run on in behind. And at the moment, it appears to be working quite well. We've got a little bit of tiredness coming in. I think because we're more likely to beat Burnley than to beat Southampton, I'm probably going to stick with this team for this game and then bring in some others. One thing I am going to do, I've been very impressed I keep saying behind the scenes, off camera, with Kieran Clark's actually coming in really well. So we're going to give him a start for today, and we're going to go from there. Thank you all for your recommendations of signings to buy and people to look at and things like that. I have added people to the list, so when January comes around we can get back into that and have a look. We know everything should be good. Let's put us into our really bright orange away kit, I think, so that we can really stand out. Look at Haaland there, modelling it very nicely indeed. Yeah, it should be good. Backman in goal for Burnley. Tarkowski, Long, Brady, Lowton, Westwood, Cork, McNeil, Hendrick, Barnes and Wood. Barnes and Wood going to be a handful up front. We'll be back as the game kicks off. So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turf Moor for Burnley versus Newcastle in the live game on TV today in the Premier League. Newcastle on a good run of form, 6 points from 6 in the last 2 games. Burnley struggling a little bit, but not doing too badly themselves. We see Newcastle playing their orange kit. Kieran Clark comes in for a good run of form. He keeps his place at centre-back, but it's mainly the team you know and love. So the game gets underway with Burnley kicking us off at home, and we'll have to see if Haaland can get the best of Tarkowski at the back as Burnley play a long ball forward, which Kieran Clark easily wins their header for. So Newcastle coming down the left-hand side with Almiron. Back to Danny Rose. Try to find Bentaleb, but it's robbed in the middle, and Ashley Barnes is a little bit isolated up front. Moves it out to Hendrick. Jeff Hendrick gives Bentaleb a little run around, lays it back up towards Ashley Barnes. He's pressured by Kieran Clark, who makes a really good tackle, keeping up this good form that he's been showing in recent games. Haaland lays it back to Hayden. Hayden's got a few runners in front of him. Haaland tries to feed it through, gets it a lucky bounce and gets it back. Haaland trying to take on Westwood, does very well on the outside of him, gives it to Almiron, waits for the overlapping run from Rose. Rose flicks it in, looking for Haaland. Haaland with a header, and it's gone in. A wonderful header from Erling Haaland, keeping up his good run of goal scoring form. And Newcastle take the lead 1-0 at Turf Moor. A wonderful header from the youngster. Lovely finish. He celebrates in style. So it's worked out well here. Haaland laid it out to the left-hand side. Almiron flicked it onto Rose. Rose dinked it into the box, and Haaland with a towering header into the top corner. A wonderful finish. 1-0 Newcastle. Danny Rose nicks the ball off Jeff Hendrick, who's caught on his toes a little bit. Rose run a long way here. He's still going, lays it in. Bentaleb just couldn't get there. Hayden should be able to win that header and does, but it's kept well. And McNeil now tries to launch Burnley forward. Ashley Barnes lays it into Chris Wood. One more out to Jeff Hendrick. Slightly overhit the pass, but he's going to be able to have a run at Hayden here. But great defending from the Newcastle holding midfielder, as now Newcastle look to create their own counter-attack as Maximin into Haaland. Haaland tries to splay it out wide to Almiron again. Almiron waits for the run, sees Bentaleb. Bentaleb just couldn't get there, cleared away. Half an hour gone, 1-0 Newcastle. So at half time, Newcastle find themselves 1-0 up. Not the best of games It's been very scrappy from both teams. Burnley really struggling to create anything really. Just a couple of shots in that first half. 3 shots for both teams. 1 on target for Newcastle, and that's the only goal of the game. No substitutions for Newcastle, but a substitution for Burnley sees Ashley Barnes go off, replaced by Jay Rodriguez, and that's a terrible pass from Hayden. Goes straight out into in for a throw-in for Burnley to start the second half. So Bentaleb over the ball. Looking to fire this one in towards Almiron. Jack Cork wins the header though. Danny Rose pulls it down out of the sky really well. Dinks it out to Yedlin. Try to flick it on. Into Shelvey. Shelvey to Olmo. Olmo to Saint-Maximin. Puts it into the box. Looking for Haaland again. Can Shelvey get on it? No. Olmo looks to keep it alive for Newcastle. Plays it in to Haaland. Drops it off to Shelvey. Shelvey goes back. Keeps the ball to Kieran Clark. And some sensible play there just to keep the ball. Out it goes to Almiron. Almiron looks to put it in. Cross hits Jeff Hendrick. And the two fight for it, but Lowton picks the ball up and gets it away. So double substitution for Newcastle. Andy Carroll comes on to replace Haaland. And Longstaff on for Bentaleb. Olmo picks a pocket of space. Carroll back to Shelvey. Shelvey into Longstaff. Longstaff turns. Opens up a bit of space for Almiron, who is fouled. Surely he is. He got his foot in front of the ball and wins a free kick there. The referee's just shaking his head, coming over for a word with Lowton at right back. Almiron asking for a yellow card, but the referee having none of it. And Lowton just walks away from the situation, probably sensibly. But it was a bit of a bad tackle. Now Longstaff is over it, but he's going to be kicked off it for Danny Olmo. Hit the bar with a previous free kick. What can he do with this one? Olmo over the ball, looks to swing it in, and it's touched over the bar by Backman. I think it was going over, but Backman wasn't to know, and just touches it over to make sure it's safe. Corner then. Longstaff on it, but again probably going to be replaced by Shelvey to take this one. And, Shelvey will look to fire it across goal. Fires it in low and hard. Andy Carroll with the header. It hits Brady and goes behind for another corner. And can they keep this pressure on here? Newcastle maybe get a second goal. That would be absolutely brilliant for Diego Maradona's men. It would be very, very good if that can happen. Longstaff wanting to take the corner again, but he's not going to be allowed to. Tundre Shelvey over the ball, looking to fire it in. Does towards Olmo. Jack Cork heads it away once more. Danny Rose picks it up. Finds Shelvey. Shelvey dinks in, looking for Carroll. Long's there again. Longstaff just had to make the sensible option. Shelvey goes out to Almiron. Almiron dinks it in, looking for Longstaff. Backman gets the punch. Rose keeps it alive, and Westwood gets it away. And now there could be a counter-attack on here. Newcastle are going to have to defend this well. Jay Rodriguez going forward with the ball. They've got a 3-on-2 situation. Cabral puts it into Rodriguez. Out comes Dubravka. What a save from the goalkeeper for Newcastle to keep it at 1-0 in the final minute of the game. That could have been curtains for the 3 points for Newcastle, but here Burnley still coming forward. Westwood out to Aaron Lennon, who's come on the right hand side. Tackled well by Longstaff, but gets the pass away to Westwood. Goes long over the top. Clark misses it. Easy for Dubravka. And what's the referee giving here? He's giving a foul to Newcastle. Wood going in a bit strong in that position as Kieran Clark jumped. He's had a superb game at the back, Kieran Clark. Yeah, Wood all over Clark, over the back of him there. It's a free kick to Newcastle. Dubravka just takes it short to Clark, and Newcastle know that time is on their side and they can just keep the ball for a couple more minutes, and the 3 points will be theirs. Kieran Clark out to Danny Rose. Now it goes to Almiron, and they've given it away, but there's the full-time whistle. Haaland's header in the first half gives Newcastle the win, 1-0, and their run of form continues on. And next up for them, Southampton at St James's Park, and you can just see the goal here. Danny Rose putting in a delightful cross towards that near post area. Haaland got the run, great header, 1-0 Newcastle. So around the ground then, Everton drew 2-2 with Norwich. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Man City beat Liverpool 1-0, and Crystal Palace get a 3-1 win over West Ham. Aston Villa draw with Brighton 2-2. Man United beat Leicester 4-2 at Old Trafford. Chelsea beat Watford 4-2 at Stamford Bridge. Sheffield United get a great away win at Southampton 2-0, and Arsenal beat Bournemouth 1-0 on the South Coast. Newcastle move up the table into 12th position. Man City, Chelsea, Man United and Liverpool make up the top 4. Down in the relegation zone, Bournemouth sit bottom of the table with 7 points. Brighton and Hove Albion 2 above them on 9, and Palace and Sheffield United joint on 10 in 17th and 18th position respectively. So a good win against Burnley, happy with that. Next up is Southampton at home, a midday kickoff, so we'll be on the TV for sure. Let's go straight into it. No messing. So hello everybody and welcome to a fully packed St James's Park. What a game in store for you today. Newcastle on a run of form of 3 wins from their last 3 games, and Southampton getting a disappointing loss at home against Sheffield United in their last fixture. Lots of changes for the Newcastle team. Darlow makes his first start of the season in goal for Newcastle. Andy Carroll gets a start up front. John Joe Shelby back into central midfield, and Joel Linton gets a start on the left wing as well as the game gets underway at a very sunny northeast England. Let's see how the home team can get on and see if they can keep this form running. Gnabry on the right hand side, Walker-Peters, Southampton growing into this game. Gnabry gets it back up against Bentaleb, puts a cross in, there's a header from Ings, flashes across goal. Southampton very nearly with the lead. Darlow came flying out of his goal. And it went to Walker-Peters here, fed it back into the pass of Gnabry, put a cross in, and then that header from Ings. Darlow was to be found wanting and absolutely nowhere, and Newcastle live a charmed life. 0-0. Shelby into Bentaleb. Newcastle just struggling to break down this very stubborn back line of Southampton. They're sitting very deep, very solid. Just 2 banks of 4, well, 1 bank of 4 and 1 bank of 5 to be honest. And Newcastle are lacking a bit of imagination to try and get through. Andy Carroll drops off into a deeper position, tries to feed in John Joe Shelby, and it's cleared away again by Southampton, who at the moment don't seem even bothered with attacking, just leaving Shane Long up front on his own. As soon as they lose possession, Danny Ings drops into that attacking midfield position and makes it even harder for Newcastle to break through as they're trying to shift from side to side again. Move this Southampton defence around. Andy Carroll drops off again. Jones, I think he was trying to dink that out to the far hand side. Vestergaard brings it down. It's not the best of clearances. Goes straight to Danny Rose. Bentaleb into Almiron. Flicks it onto Rose again. Rose puts it in, looking for Carroll again, too close to Angus Gunn. Remains 0-0. 5 minutes till half time. On the stroke of half time, Lejeune picks up a yellow card for his troubles. A foul on Danny Ings, or maybe on Shane Long. Shane Long, sorry, brought it down. Well, Lejeune just came in really hard, not a fair shoulder barge. Referee branches the yellow card. And it's a somewhat dangerous free kick here as Oriol Romeo is over the ball. Dinks it in, and Rose wins the header to get it away. Gibbs White keeps it alive, into Boufal, into Ings. Can he get a shot off? He does, past the post. And that will see us through to half-time at 0-0, I imagine. Romeo flicked it in well. Danny Rose headed it away, but kept alive by Gibbs White. Worked nicely in some tight space. Ings got enough time to get the shot off past the post, and that will probably be that for half time. I don't think either team will be very happy with their performance in the first half. Both teams really struggling. Well, Southampton not really attacking, and Newcastle United not being able to break Southampton down at all. 0-0 at the half time break. Let's go into the second half and hope for a little bit more entertainment. So into the second half, neither team making a substitution. And Southampton will be looking to hopefully get on the front foot a little bit more, and Newcastle hoping that opens them up to a possible counter-attack, because they've just been Southampton sitting deep. And there's an early sub in the second half. Ward-Prowse on, Gibbs White off, and a set-piece specialist, James Ward-Prowse. Have to keep an eye out for that if you're a Newcastle fan, and see how the tactic goes. But Shane Long picks up the ball, out to Bertrand. He's up against Javi Manquillo. Lots of Newcastle players trying to impress the manager today. The ball goes in. Clark wins it though, and it's going to fall to Gnabry. Newcastle players a little bit slow to react. Here is Ward-Prowse, fresh off the bench. Armstrong shoots from range. Easy for Darlow to hold on to that one. Armstrong, we know he likes a shot from range. Gets it past Bentaleb. Bertrand, back to Armstrong. Tries to flay it out wide to Boufal and does. Boufal now. Southampton don't have the tallest of players, and this could be the counter that Newcastle have been waiting for, because saint-maximin is coming forward with it. He's got a lot of space to run into. Alain Saint-Maximin feeds it in. Andy Carroll, right-footed. Oh, he's hit it straight at the keeper off his weaker foot. And it's going to go behind for a corner. That is what Newcastle have been waiting for. That counter-attack opportunity when Southampton finally throw men forward. Great ball in from Saint-Maximin. And Andy Carroll would have loved that on his left foot. Had to right foot toe poke it. And Angus Gunn comes up with a big save. Saint-Maximin into Olmo. Olmo to Carroll. He sees the run of Bentaleb, who's got the wrong side of the defender. It's Bentaleb. Oh, and Angus Gunn comes out really quickly, dives on the ball. A fantastic piece of goalkeeping from the young Englishman. Oh, and that was a chance Newcastle haven't created too many of them, and that's what they're going to be hoping they can get more of and put those chances away. Olmo tries to flick it into the path of Bentaleb, but Ward-Prowse reads it well. And Southampton just hold on to the ball and playing it around the back four. So triple substitution for Newcastle. Carroll off, Haaland on, Hayden off, Hayden on, Shelvey off, and Longstaff on, and Olmo off as well, as Bentaleb looks to eye up this free kick. What's he got in his locker? Actually plays it short to Hayden, who goes to Danny Rose, gives it back to Bentaleb. Round the corner, Bentaleb tried to get it into the path of Haaland. Bentaleb does eventually find Haaland, flicks it on into Longstaff. Longstaff back to Haaland, gets a shot off. Oh, and he's straight on the game and he's hit the post. Joe Linton tries to put it back across. Vestergaard with a good header. Bentaleb can't get there, times his jump wrong. And Armstrong gets it away. And Haaland with an nearly immediate introduction and changing the game. Wonderful, wonderful effort that hits the post. 5 minutes to go. And it's Newcastle 0, Southampton 0. So maybe Newcastle have the chance to just mount one last thought-out attack as it goes in to midfield. Manquillo picks it up. He's getting the full 90 minutes on his return to first team action. Hayden plays the ball. Ward-Prowse really easily intercepts that one, and Southampton look to launch an attack as Rose intercepts. Hayden again picks a better pass this time to Longstaff. Into Haaland. Oh, it's overhit that. It should have gone into Bentaleb's feet. And now it's cleared away, and Borja Baston has turned in behind the Newcastle defence, but they get numbers back. Kieran Clark being one of them. Manquillo goes long, but at full time it's 0-0 in a pretty piss poor game, to be honest. Not that a commentator should ever say the word piss poor, but yeah, not the best. 4 shots for Newcastle, 6 for Southampton, only 1 on target. But Newcastle came closest, hitting the post with Haaland. And let's see what that's done to the table and the other results around the grounds. So Norwich beat Burnley 2-0, Wolves beat Everton 4-2, Liverpool 4, Tottenham 0 in a one-sided result at Anfield, West Ham losing 4-2 at home to Man City, and the other results we won't look at. Newcastle United still sit in 12th, Man City remain top of the table by 3 points ahead of Chelsea, who are then Liverpool and Man United in 3rd and 4th. Down the bottom, Palace, Bournemouth get off the bottom of the table, and Sheffield United all joint on 10 points. So 2 pretty interesting games in that episode there. Next up for us is Bournemouth. We'll play that offline. So winning streak is halted at 3, but I will take, what's that, 7 points from 9. I'll definitely take that. We've been offered a job somewhere else. Where have we been offered a job? Sheffield United and AAB. No, thank you. We've also got some messages in here. Kieran Clark from Sheffield United, the job at AAB. Haaland got a nickname, but we're not bothering about that. Let's go and see what they've offered for Kieran Clark. I'll probably reject it because he's actually been playing incredibly well recently. 3 million. No. I don't know why. I might as well just go no. Rejection. Reject that straight off the bat. Yeah, so we are scouting some players as well. We're looking out for players to see who's in there. Rebic has come up, which could be a good one to get. I am also looking at Barbosa, who was recommended in the chat, in the comments section. So that's an interesting one to look at. Barbosa. Gabriel Barbosa. There he is. 82 rated centre forward. Free agent. Yeah, all right. We'll give you a 2-year contract. We'll give you... You can have a release fee. Yeah, that's fine. We'll give you a weekly salary of 23. I mean, you probably won't agree to that, but we'll try it. We'll lowball him to start and see how we do. But 100% I'll take him on a free transfer. Yes, please. But there we go. That's another episode done. I really hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if I wasn't as enthusiastic, but I have already played those games once. But the main thing is the save is still going. I didn't have to restart it, which is really, really good. I'm going to try again to install the mods, because what it does is it allows you to pick the stadiums that you want to play at. I think St James's Park is in there, but I'm not sure. It increases the turf textures. It changes the gameplay a little bit as well to make it a little bit better. There's a lot in this data pack 5. There's a lot of first touches that are just terrible, and it sort of eradicates them. It gets the computer attacking a little bit differently. So I'm looking to install all those mods. But thank you so much for watching. For now, I'm out. Cheers.